Welcome to the Team Elevate call. This is the first open call that we've done for the team members and also for the public too. And the reason why I set up Team Elevate really was because I've been a professional climber for the last 16 years, and a lot of people keep asking me, they're like, "Oh, what are you going to do next?" And the answer to that is, I might be able to be a professional climber for the rest of my life, but I really started focusing on food recently, and I've noticed that my own personal climbing performance in the last 18 months has changed dramatically. And the reason for that is because I found a program called Transform 30, and I've been a fairly healthy eater for most of my life, but in the last 18 months, I've really tried to push my climbing to a new level, and I wanted to know how to do it. So for those of you that don't know this, I've been taking some fruit and vegetable capsules called D.O.M.S for the last 20 years. And the reason why I take those is because I feel like it gives me a really good foundation to support my body in a healthy way. And if you look at the recommendation of how many fruits and vegetables you're supposed to eat on a daily basis, I know for sure that even if I have a really healthy diet, it's very difficult for me to be able to achieve that. And by adding the powders of D.O.M.S on a daily basis, I really find that it adds the vital nutrients that I'm finding so difficult to get all the time. So yeah, doctor wise, I've been to a doctor once in the last 20 years. Now, that could totally be coincidence, but I just feel really healthy. And people talk to me all the time about, "Tim, you've got so much energy and you're always flying around here, there and everywhere. And, like, how do you do it?" And I kind of realize now that it's because my body is really, really healthy from what I eat. Now, when you add that to Transform 30, which is anyone that's interested about it, we're going to talk about it a little bit now, but Transform 30 is a combination of adding nutrients to what you eat, but also restructuring what you eat, like changing what you buy in the supermarket. And you take out gluten, you take out dairy, and you add a whole number of things like exercise, drinking lots of water, trying to reduce sugar, additives, and things that are really easy to do. But, I found with Transform 30, it was a real roadmap to be able to something to follow, and I hadn't found anything like that before. Now, how does Team Elevate fit into that? Well, Team Elevate is a team of like-minded people. Some of them are healthcare professionals, some of them are athletes, but all of us, I think, are people who like to help other people. And Team Elevate is an opportunity for anyone who would like to help other people with their health to also make a part-time business out of it too. And it's based on network marketing, and it's a network franchise, which is what that means is that it's a virtual office where you don't have to buy any stock. Everything's done online, and orders that are placed from people go directly to the company and the products go directly to them. And if you're a distributor for that, you get paid a commission. So we set up Team Elevate 12 months ago, and now there's 15 of us in 5 different countries, and it's really gathering some momentum. And the reason for that is because we've got 58 people that have that are taking D.O.M.S and have more nutrients going into their diet. And what that's doing is I'm getting a lot of messages from people that are like, "Wow, I feel amazing." And what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite a few people this evening to talk about what has happened to them since they joined Team Elevate and share some of those stories with us. So the first person I'd like to bring on board is a good friend of mine, Robbie Burke. Now, Robbie, how can I introduce Robbie? Robbie's kind of an ex-businessman who has chosen to prioritize lifestyle over money, and he now lives in Switzerland and spends most of his time going skiing and doing things that look really fun. Robbie, you used to compete at a national level for like rugby and running, and but you used to get, you didn't turn it into a career. Like, why was that? And how, why did you get started with taking Juice Plus capsules?
So I guess the easiest way is to start with, as a 16 to 19-year-old, I competed at a national level in both rugby and athletics. And I was actually brought up on a vegetarian diet, and I come from a very health conscious family. And what was happening when I was kind of going through very intensive training programs from a very early age was that I couldn't keep up with the amount and the intensity of training that I needed to sort of put in to keep up with my peers and to continue to sort of explore both my rugby career and athletics career at the time. So I kind of very kind of humbly had to put my tail between my legs in my sort of early 20s and really think about what else can I do and where's this all going. So I kind of naturally drifted into a career working in child protection, that then went into a very kind of senior executive business type management position for many years. Still did bits of climbing, still did bits of skiing, but didn't get the fix that I wanted. So I made a decision to move over to the Swiss Alps, which has been one of the best decisions I've made. And over the last kind of 2 to 3 years, definitely, I've really kind of started to want to kind of get that fix of training and trying to kind of get my body into a peak condition where I can start to do some of the things that I desperately want to do. I desperately want to climb some of the big mountains in the Himalayas, and I desperately want to ski off some of the summits of the big mountains in the Himalayas. So I wanted to know how to get there, and I followed Mr. Tim Emmett for many years on social media, and I saw this Juice Plus product that was floating around at the time. And lots of information that was kind of bombarding social media around that. And at the time I was taking some other products and experimenting with diet and experimenting with kind of taking things away and putting things back into my diet to try to get myself into a position where I could continue to train. And for a year of living in the Alps, I was doing lots of cycling, I was doing lots of climbing, I was doing lots of skiing. But I was doing a day or 2 days, and I was still getting severe D.O.M.S, which is delayed onset of muscle soreness, and really badly, and not be able to ski the next day, or not being able to cycle the next day when everybody else is going out, and I'd be able to keep up with it, and I'd be able to sort of be on a par with my peers, but I could never kind of push it anymore. So Juice Plus comes along is the short answer. I experimented with that and Transform 30, and the results have been monumental, to say the least. I was trying to think about this call before when I was driving back down the M6 and thinking about what would happen if I didn't have Juice Plus now in terms of my fitness, and what would happen if I eradicated that completely away from my diet and stopped following Transform 30 principles. And I'm 99.9% sure I'd be back to the place I was, where I was getting kind of severe aches and pains after exercise. And I guess to contextualize that and make that kind of a little bit more real, I probably ski sort of downhill skiing, backcountry skiing, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And then I ski tour, so I ski uphill and around the resort, probably cover between 150 to 200 kilometers a week sometimes, probably 3 or 4 times a week. And since I've been taking Juice Plus, I can do that day after day after day after day, and still maintain I run my own company. I'm the sole director for, and still maintain the energy to be able to do that. And I guess if I was to sum in a nutshell what the kind of Juice Plus has brought to me, definitely my energy levels are absolutely through the roof. At one stage, I'd be able to do these things, but I would need to definitely kind of have almost sort of an Eastern sort of power nap approach to continuing to work in the evening, which I don't need. My sleep has improved dramatically. For all my working life, I've functioned on 5 hours sleep, and I would explain to people, it's just the way I am. I don't need a lot of sleep. But in reality, actually, I very clearly did need the sleep. I just wasn't getting it because my metabolism was so messed up. that I wasn't able to kind of access a regular and healthy sleep pattern. So weight loss, which hasn't been, I haven't gone on Juice Plus or Transformed 30 diet to try to actively lose weight. That hasn't been the idea at all. I haven't changed my exercise pattern, but I've been able to do more. And I've lost since I started taking Juice Plus capsules and premium shakes. I've gone down from about 80 kilos to about 73 kilos within probably like 90 days now. Where I've only actually done 2 lots of Transform 30, so I've actually only done a month on, a month off, a month on, a month off. I'm in a month off at the moment, and even just taking premium capsules, I seem to be losing sort of body weight. It's not muscle mass. It's certainly not muscle mass, and it's certainly not water retention, because I'm putting sort of 10 to 12 pints of fluid in me a day when I'm training. So in a nutshell, from an athletic performance perspective, I can't, as you can tell, I can't rave about the product enough.
Robbie, one thing that some people have said to me is they're like, yeah, but Transform 30, isn't it just for weight loss? And for me, absolutely not at all. I use it in addition to what I eat, but I use it as a kind of a guide to eat really, really healthily. And it sounds like you do that too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the main thing that I've taken away from it as well is that the feeling definitely, and I've tried to think about this a lot, and I've spoken to a lot of very, very educated nutritionists about this as well. And when I'm on my month off, definitely the thing that affects me most is gluten. And I'm sure this is different for different body types and different chemical compositions of people in general. But I think the combination of gluten, dairy, and alcohol definitely combined to one is one of the main inhibiting factors of being able to actually recover in terms of athletic performance. Living in Switzerland and a Swiss European diet of bread, of cheese, of milk, of dairy, that's quite hard for people to conceptualize. But friends of mine who have now gone on a Transform 30, who have been very, very used to a European Swiss diet, the reports that they're coming back, and they're very talented climbers. They kind of climb at a very respectable grade, and they're absolutely kind of but as blown away as I am about it, just from the concepts of Transform 30 and actually eradicating gluten and dairy alongside taking a premium capsule and premium shake, and it's the kind of energy again, really, I think that you seem to be able to maximize by going on a Transform 30 plan at the same time as taking capsules is the thing that astounds me, really.
Yeah. Hey, brilliant, Robbie. That's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. It's it's really cool to have you on board. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, so the next person I'd like to invite onto the call is Suzanne Milne. Now, Suzanne, she was the first person to join Team Elevate about a year ago, and Suzanne was really skeptical. I think everyone is really skeptical about what we're doing here because they just don't know about it really. And Suzanne, we started working together, and there are a few things that I had no idea about, and they all started to come out in the wash. Suzanne, why did you start taking Juice Plus, and what's happened to you?
Well, skeptical is a good word, yeah. I learned about Juice Plus. I heard about it and thought it was another weight loss fad. Wasn't interested in the slightest. Started to educate myself a little bit more through speaking to Tim, and realised, obviously that it's dehydrated fruit and vegetables in capsule form, in powdered form, I should say. And I thought to myself, well, I don't need that. Again, like yourself, Robbie, I've been vegetarian for a number of years now, and I buy loads and loads of fruit and vegetables. So I thought, I don't need that. And then I kind of realised that I buy loads of fruit and vegetables. I don't eat a lot of fruit and vegetables. I've been a lot of them. And then beyond that, I realised that the quality of the produce that I can get locally from the supermarket is not got the nutritional value that it needs. It's not developed fully. A lot of it's ripen at home or decompose at home, I would say. Not gone through the organic process a lot of the time. So I thought, well, why not? What have I got to lose? If nothing else, it's going to add some of this good stuff to my diet. I was still suffer with a condition called delayed sleep phase syndrome, which is an uncommon sleep condition where my body clock is switched alternatively to most of the general public. So I was generally surviving for my entire life on between 15 and 20 hours worth of sleep a week. Now, I never really contemplated anything in regards to my sleep process. Capsules arrived, I started taking them within a matter of weeks. Instead of falling asleep at between sort of 4, 6 a.m. every day and having to then get out of bed by 7:30, 8 o'clock, I was finding that I suddenly wanted to go to bed by 1:30 in the morning, which was unheard of. Maybe on the odd occasion, but this seemed to be fairly consistent. And, I'm sort of saying to Tim, wow, I don't know, surely it can't just be the capsules. But I was quite ill at the time, and I'd been off work for quite some time, seeing lots of different medical consultants for a whole variety of illnesses and medical conditions that were all on the back of sleep deprivation over a long period of time. And a further few weeks down the line, I introduced the shakes to my diet. Again, not very keen to do so, but I thought, I'll try it. And it got to the point where not only was I sleeping better, but my energy was improving. I'm certainly not athletic, and I have never really been in a position health-wise to be able to exercise. But within a matter of weeks, I was sort of getting up every morning, 6 days a week, doing an exercise DVD. I was walking 4 miles every day. I was attending the gym at the hospital because I was seeing physiotherapists. And throughout all of my appointments, each medical consultant or doctor was sort of saying, what's going on? Why is this changing? And I suddenly found that I had this amazing lease of life that I didn't even register that I hadn't really had before and I hadn't experienced before. So for me, it was by that point, I was sold, and people who had seen me and known me prior to taking it were just sort of going, "What the hell is going on? What have you done? Why, you're looking fantastic." I had a bit of weight loss as well, which is on the back of a reduction in sugar, in salt, in fat. Cut out the gluten, cut out the wheat and the dairy, and just not through forcing myself to do it, but because my body stopped wanting them. I stopped craving these things as well. And just from there's been a whole catalyst of phenomenal health improvements, to the point where I have not seen anyone in the medical profession other than to have blood tests that I have requested myself since June last year, so 6 months into taking the product. And I decided, this was the sort of thing I needed to be doing. I became very, very passionate about it. I realised that my 15-year career in a 9-to-5 job was detrimental to my health because of my sleep-wake cycle, and so I kind of threw in the towel on that and decided to go into this full force. And a year down the line, I can safely say I'll never ever look back from it, and I'm just so excited that everything's just positive and it's progressing positively. And everyone that I've managed to discuss it with that's decided they want to start taking the product as well is just blown away by the results, and it's just fantastic to be able to help people like that. I really love it.
That was brilliant, Suzanne. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. I mean, it's been an amazing journey, really. I mean, look where we are now. We've got so many people, like really good friends and family that have teamed up with us. And honestly, the stories like that, it's just, how many jobs can you do where you really help people out? That's what I mean, that's something that I'm really picking up on here, because I mean, my climbing career has been a very selfishly based operation, and it's been amazing. I'm still going to climb for as long as I can, but I think to have a job opportunity where you can help people and seriously have an effect on their lives, and there's a number of ways that we can kind of do that. And I mean, to take us on to our third and last guest here is Shey. I'd really like to introduce you as like a super mum of like 4. I mean, Suzanne's got 2 kids as well, and you're also a super mum. But like, you know, I think for you, it sounds like you're some of the experiences that you've had with the capsules have been far greater with your kids. Actually, can you talk to us a little bit about that, and like why you started taking it, why you started giving it to your kids, and what's happened to them? Oh, hang on a minute. Wait there a second.
And I got a text from Suzanne, actually, and it came at a moment where it had been needed. It obviously was sent out in the universe. I'd been a nursery teacher for 10 years and very vigilant with my children's diets and my own and my husband's. But I just started working in a bar and doing really long hours, working full time, and I wasn't getting to be as vigilant with the kids' meals. I was making things in the slow cooker and things like that, but I felt that myself, I was eating on the go or eating chips when you're in the kitchen, etc., etc. I knew my diet was really slipping, and I knew that the kids was. And Suzanne sent me this, and I felt that my energy levels weren't as they used to, and I knew it was due to diet. Suzanne sent me that text, and the fact that, you know, you got the free child study for me was like, wow, you know, we all know what children are like, picky, fussy. I mean, my kids are generally good eaters when it comes to fruit and veg, but they were, because I wasn't being so vigilant, they were starting to be, oh, I don't like that, or I don't want that. So my husband and I, we got the shakes and the capsules, and we got the free child study, and just purely to get the extra fruit and veg. That was it. That's all I wanted. Anything else was a bonus. I didn't think about any other benefits. But all my kids had bad eczema. In fact, Jordan, she has really bad psoriasis all over her skin. But from taking my son took the capsules, my daughter took the shakes, and my youngest daughter, she took the chewable sweeties. And Jordan, my eldest, she did a wee bit of everything. Now, none of them have got eczema at all, which was not, and you know, that was not what I set out to do. So that was phenomenal. That was something that I was like, oh my God, Suzanne, this is amazing. I have had so many different creams, went to homeopaths, you know, tried to cut out dairy, done lots of things. And another thing was my youngest daughter, she had, what was it, 36 warts on her hands, like that Veruca, you know, all the things that we tried to go back and forth to doctors, and they vanished within, I would say, about 8 weeks of being on the chewy sweeties. And wow. She was just, she is addicted to Juice Plus because of this, and she will tell everybody. She actually has celiac disease as well, and I do believe that due to the Juice Plus, it's kept it at bay. You know, it's just like, it's not, obviously she does have times where she is quite unwell. We're still really trying to kind of get particularly diagnosis as to what food she's allergic to at the moment. But I feel that without the Juice Plus, it would be a lot worse. So yeah, the kids, they all love it. They're my PRs. They go out and tell everybody about it. And also a big thing I've noticed, I mean, although they are good at eating fruit and veg, they eat a lot more fruit and veg, and they're a lot more aware how, I know it's mum's job, they know it's mum's job, but they also, they know that's good for you, what benefits they've got for it. They now know that eating more normal fruit and veg is so important because they've seen what it does for you, and they'll tell other people. So yeah, I mean, also I had really bad gum disease. I don't have gum disease anymore. Really? I did the Transform 30. Yeah, my gums, I never used to be able to eat an apple without my apple being covered in blood. And now I can eat apples and everything. My my gums are brilliant, really healthy. My dentist very, very impressed.
Wow.
I did the Transform 30 just a wee bit, just because obviously I was selling it. I wanted to try it and see. So I lost half a stone in 4 weeks in the Transform 30, and I wasn't fully engaged in it. I was just trying it. So, I mean, I can't praise Juice Plus enough. I find it addictive and contagious. I just love it. And everybody around me that's taken it, has not one person's been disappointed. Sorry. Well, I got a message today from my friend. I kind of bullied him into taking it a wee bit because he doesn't really eat any fruit and veg. And I was like, look, this is the easiest, cheapest, best way to do it. Believe me, you know, you're 33 years old. You really need to start. And he was like, oh, well, I'll try it. Okay. Just being kind of taking my word for it. But he messaged me today and he said that he's always had quite bad acne. All his skin, all his spots have gone. His acne is brilliant. And he says, actually, my hair is growing. And he's very shocked at that. And I found that hilarious because, like that, he never thought that would happen. So, yeah,
Wow.
I love it.
That's so cool. It's I just love hearing these stories. Honestly, it really makes me feel amazing, and it just feels like we're doing some good in the world. I mean, it might sound like a bit of a cliche, but it's I don't know. Some people have turned around to me in the past and they're like, yeah, but it just sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
But now that I know, I just know that there's absolutely no way, you know, that these things don't just happen coincidentally. And when we went to the conference in Birmingham a few weeks ago, the one thing that stuck with me the most was after two speakers had been standing there for over an hour, one of them turned around and said, well, we know it works. How many people have you heard coughing since we started?
Yeah, that was a good one.
And you're like, oh, I hadn't heard anyone. And it's a room full of people, you know. So, and I'm not saying that you're never going to get ill and you're never going to have a cough, but, you know, I've been taking it for 20 years and I know I'll take it forever.
Yeah.
And hearing stories like what you've just told us there, Shey, is it's so cool. And especially with the kids. So any of you out there that are wondering about the Children's Health Study, the way it works is if you buy the capsules yourself, or if someone buys them, then they can sponsor a child so they get theirs for free, and they could do that for up to 4 years. And to participate in the study, it's a 1 year commitment. And I mean, I'm sponsoring a really good friend of mine at the moment because Rocco's not old enough to be on the program yet. So a friend of mine who's got some skin issues, we've just started giving them some Juice Plus to see if that's going to help. So watch this space. We'll see if it helps. That's so awesome. Hey, well, Shey, thanks so much. And I'm just going to I'm going to unmute everyone right now. Before we close the call, has anyone got any questions? Well, I'd like to say that I think this is a huge success, and I'm really excited that you've all come on the call. And thanks so much for Shey and Suzanne, and also Robbie for
Hi, Peter.
sharing their stories with us. And we'll catch up next week. That's been awesome. Thanks very much, guys. Nice to see you.
You guys.
You too. Thanks.
Cheers.